It's a lovely Friday afternoon, April 25th to be exact, and I'm here at Ashton Gardens at Thanksgiving Point taking in the Tulip Festival. Little celebration of spring that's going on here through May 17th. So, if you're in the area, why not come on down sometime through the middle of May, you know? But yeah, check this out. Flowers in all kinds of colors. And of course they've got it decorated perfectly for this. We're now entering the greenhouse. Let's focus in on these hanging pots here. Flowers in all the colors of the rainbow and then some. Isn't this just grand? No, really, it is. There's even a flowery arch here that bids you welcome to these here gardens. Some of the trees still have their flower petals on them, though at this point they are quickly making way for the green leaves typical of summer. But just look at these flowers. Tulips featuring prominently, but I don't think that's all there are. Just look at the way they open up, though. It's how you know spring is here. But there's one more thing that's going to make this whole thing complete. Yup, my Yuuka fumo. I'm also here to take some last bits of B-roll footage for an upcoming video that will be featuring this here fumo. And I can't think of anything else to say right now. And there's just one of the many displays of this colorful springtime festival that you will see here. A wooden shoe. Well, there are windmills here too. And tulips were a major part of Holland's economy. Holland, of course, being part of the Netherlands. And here, of course, we have Thanksgiving Point's gardeners tending to a springtime rainbow. And what's that up there? Little windmill-shaped pinwheels. Very nice. Remember, don't step on these flowers, or Yuuka will blow you away. Yeah, she's the original holder of the Master Spark. Marisa's just copying off of her. Got flowery sheep here. At least I think they're sheep. Okay, time to get moving. These gardens will not see themselves. check this out. Excuse me. They got waterfalls here too. Just rushes down to the lake there. And over here, we seem to have a confluence of the two waterfalls. There's the first one, and here's the second one, which comes down from there. Very nice. And as if that weren't enough, here's a third waterfall. And this path diverges around this rocky island here. And then the path falls off down into the lake from the other side. There's some food trucks and so forth down there. Pretty typical for a festival. But as Ryan Ishida likes to say, let's keep walking. I'll link to his channel in the description below. You know, not all trees and bushes bloom at the same time. Here we have some that have yet to bloom. Don't worry, they all bloom eventually. Meanwhile, here's some more flowers. You know, at first I thought this garden gnome was the fruit part of a strawberry, but now that I have a closer look at this, it actually is a garden gnome. Meanwhile, what's that sound? Butterflies and flowers remade into percussion instruments. Something akin to steel pans. Also, more flowers. And here are the flowers that have yet to open up. But all flowers bloom eventually in due time. Meanwhile, here's some more tulips that have already bloomed. You've heard of the Ghibli movie Up on Poppy Hill, right? Well, this is up on Tulip Hills. Get it? And now, just as there are flowers of every color, we now have parasols of every color. Why am I suddenly reminded of that Beatles song, Here Comes the Sun King? Especially that faux Italian, Portuguese, whatever section. Quando di felice. I'd have to look up the exact lyrics again. Che needed carousel. Now, 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 now. Okay, now this is cool. Got this watery stairs here, complementing the flowers. And it doesn't stop here. Oh no. This staircase, quote unquote, continues all the way down there. A huge, almost bush of flowers at the bottom of the staircase. Staircase, quote unquote. It's just that the water flows down like it was going downstairs. Like I said, it complements the flowers perfectly.
I don't know. I think there's a...
Okay, well, maybe I'll what's the next word? There's always no on a second. Whoa, it's not dropping in the water.
I feel like I'm recreating the entrance to Fraggle Rock. 80s kids will know exactly what I'm talking about. Flower beds and trellises, and even a gazebo or two. Everything gardening. And you love to see it. You know, a single video like this couldn't really do justice to the splendor and the wonder of flowers for miles on end. Well, maybe not miles. And yes, we've got a breeze today. I personally love seeing the wind turbines turn, as something of an environmentalist. Anyway, here's that lagoon I mentioned earlier. I'm sure if I follow this, I'll be able to see where the waterfalls all come out. And over there, they've hung streamers. I think those are koi streamers. Sure look like them. Okay, so this is not the lake that all those waterfalls were flowing into. This is a much different lake, but there's still a smaller waterfall here. And a lovely bridge there, too. And, of course, more flowers. Because, why not? And I really need to learn to hold my camera steadier. Now, here's a more traditional windmill, the kind you think of when you think of medieval and Renaissance Holland. Or anywhere else in Europe during that time, for that matter. Okay, so this must be the waterway that connects that first lagoon I mentioned to the second. Meanwhile, here's the bridge I'm standing on to record all this. Also more flowers, because this is a flower festival. Here's something else that's awesome. They made an entire carousel using metal made to look like one big old garden trellis. These are the kinds of things that make it worth coming out here for. Okay, here's the lagoon that all those waterfalls I mentioned earlier flow into. And here's the beginning of that waterway connecting the two lagoons. This first one I mentioned earlier, and the one where the piers were with all the koi streamers I mentioned later. I'll sing you one ho, green grow the rushes ho. What is your one ho? One is one and all alone, and evermore shall be so. I don't know why I just started singing that, but seeing what I'm pretty sure were rushes just reminded me of that. And now we have this butterfly-shaped arch, either to bid you welcome or to bid you farewell, depending on which way you went. Well, that'll just about do it for my Tulip Festival trip today. Again, you really need to come and see this for yourself. But hopefully this video will give you some idea of what's in store for you if you do decide to come. Anyway, it's about time for me to head on home. But before I go, just one last look at this bunch of tulips here. And even more tulips over here.